Ordering a pizza is pretty easy, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, imagine launching a satellite being that easy.
Oh, wow.
That's what Rocket Lab wants to make happen.
Mm-hmm.
They are making a big splash with these small satellite launches.
Right.
But should we invest in them?
Well, that's what we're here to find out, right?
Let's deep dive into Rocket Lab.
We've got a ton of research to go through.
Look at everything.
Their business model,
Who runs the company?
their financials, all the risks.
Okay, so by the end of this,
You'll know if this stock's for you.
don't forget to subscribe below for more deep dives like this one.
Okay, so Rocket Lab,
Yeah.
they're a space company.
So they're not just like a taxi service for these tiny satellites.
No.
There's more.
They do it all.
Okay.
They design and build spacecraft.
Oh, wow.
And they offer mission support services.
Hmm.
One-stop shop.
So is their main source of revenue the Electron rocket,
The Electron, yes.
the one we keep hearing about?
It's a big part of why they're so interesting.
Yeah.
Because they can launch a satellite for less than $5 million.
Wow.
Using the Electron.
That's way cheaper than the,
Than traditional launches.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's a big deal.
it is.
Especially for smaller companies and research institutions
Yeah.
that want to get to space.
Makes it way more accessible.
Exactly.
So the revenue mix has really shifted.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They started out
yeah.
building satellite components.
Right.
But now rocket launches are where it's at.
So a total flip.
Yeah, I mean, look at the first quarter of 2022.
Okay.
Launch services were only 16% of their revenue.
Hmm.
They were mostly making money from building satellites and parts.
Interesting.
Now rocket launches are the cash cow?
So that means they're scaling up
It does.
and on the way to higher profitability.
Awfully.
Okay, let's talk about the people in charge.
Okay.
Who's run this thing?
Well, the CEO, founder,
Yeah.
Peter Beck, he's been in the space industry since 2006.
Wow, a lot of experience.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the company's not just the CEO, right?
Absolutely not.
You got to have a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocket Lab has put together a really talented team.
Okay.
Engineers, technicians, you name it.
So they've got the brains
They do.
for all this complex stuff.
But
Oh, there's a but.
there's a but.
Okay.
There have been some rumblings
Uh-oh.
about the workplace culture.
I mean, I guess that happens sometimes
It does, yeah.
when a company grows really fast.
Growing pains.
We'll get into that more later, though.
We will.
Okay, now to the numbers.
You're right.
Is Rocket Lab financially healthy?
Let's see.
Okay.
Their revenue growth has been amazing.
Okay, give me some numbers.
They've actually beaten SpaceX
Really?
when it comes to launch cadence growth.
Okay, now what is launch cadence growth?
Basically, how fast they can launch rockets.
I see.
In 2022,
Yeah.
Rocket Lab grew that by 30%. SpaceX only 15.
That is impressive.
It is.
Outpacing SpaceX.
Yep.
So they must have some pretty ambitious revenue goals then.
Oh, they do.
Okay.
They want to hit $1 billion
The billion.
by 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're not profitable yet,
Okay.
but their gross profit margins are looking up.
So they're saying they'll be in the black soon.
That's the plan.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Their stock's been going up,
Right.
but they haven't issued any dividends
Interesting.
or bought back shares.
So what's going on there?
That's what we'll talk about after the break.
All right, we'll be right back
Stick around.
with more on Rocket Lab. So we've talked about what Rocket Lab does,
Mm-hmm.
who runs it,
Yep.
and their financials.
The numbers.
But is this stock a buy?
Right.
What else do we got in there?
Yeah, so now we need to look outward.
Okay.
How does the market see Rocket Lab
Right.
and then their ownership structure?
Okay.
And we'll do a SWOT analysis.
I'll see what.
Yeah, to figure out their future.
For those just joining us,
Hey, everyone.
all the info for this episode
All the sources
are linked below.
in the description.
And while you're down there,
Yeah.
let us know
Hit us up.
what other companies you'd like us to deep dive into.
We're always looking for new deep dives.
So market sentiment,
Yeah.
what are analysts saying about Rocket Lab?
Right? Yeah, they
Bullish.
Bullish or bearish?
It seems like Rocket Lab is getting a lot of attention,
They are.
but are analysts actually excited?
I mean, there's definitely a good feeling around them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of analysts and investors
Okay.
see a lot of potential. I mean, you look at their revenue growth
It's been good.
and the space industry in general.
Right. It feels like a new era.
It does.
Big.
It really does.
Yeah.
But some analysts are still hesitant.
Why is that?
I mean, their valuation is pretty high.
Right. High growth stocks.
Exactly. They can be risky.
And space in general is risky.
It's new.
So many unknowns.
It's a whole new world.
You mentioned earlier some concerns about Rocket Lab's workplace culture.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Why?
I mean, a bad work environment
Yeah.
can really hurt a company.
How so?
Well, employees might leave.
High turnover.
Yeah, and it's hard to attract good people.
Right.
And then your reputation gets damaged.
Makes sense.
And you might even get sued.
So bad news all around.
Yeah, and there have been these reports about Rocket Lab's culture.
Do you think it's because of all the pressure
Maybe.
to grow so fast?
It's possible.
Right.
I mean, when you grow that quickly,
Yeah.
it's hard to keep everyone happy.
And space is already high pressure.
Exactly.
Big deadlines.
Huge stakes.
Yeah,
Something to watch.
definitely.
Okay, so next up is ownership structure.
Okay, who owns Rocket Lab?
Is it regular people like us?
Right.
Or is it bigger institutions?
Yeah, who are the big players?
Well, institutional investors
Okay.
hold a big chunk of the shares.
Oh,
Big investment firms, pension funds,
I see. That
kind of thing.
So they have a lot of power over the company.
They often think long term,
Hmm.
and they want the company to succeed.
Right.
They'll use their votes
Yeah.
to get what they want.
Interesting.
What about insider ownership, though?
Right, we talked about insider selling.
Mm-hmm. What's the deal with that?
Yeah. Is that a red flag?
Well, insider ownership at Rocket Lab
Yeah.
is actually pretty low,
Okay.
which can be worrying.
Why is that?
It might mean management isn't that committed,
I see.
but then you have the insider selling,
Right.
which complicates things.
Some executives have been selling a lot of stock lately.
They have.
That worries me.
I get it.
It seems like maybe they don't believe in the company.
It could mean that.
Right.
Or maybe they just want to diversify.
Oh, okay.
Or they need cash for something.
So it's not necessarily a bad sign?
Not always.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we need to look at everything,
We do.
all the information together.
Right. And a SWOT analysis can help.
Remind us what that is.
Sure. SWOT stands for strengths,
Okay.
weaknesses,
Uh-huh.
opportunities,
Got it.
and threats.
So basically...
It's a way to analyze a company,
Okay.
see where they are now,
Yeah.
and what their future might be.
A complete checkup.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so let's start with strengths.
All right. So Rocket Lab,
Yeah.
they're strong in the small satellite market.
Okay.
They have dedicated launch services.
Right.
They can launch quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and they're vertically integrated.
What does that mean?
It means they control their own supply chain.
So they're not relying on others as much.
Exactly.
Makes them more independent.
Right. They also have great technology,
Okay.
cost-effective solutions,
Hmm.
and an experienced management team.
That's a lot of good stuff.
It is.
But what about weaknesses?
Well, as we said,
Yeah.
they really depend on that small satellite market.
Mm.
What if that market shrinks
Oh, right.
or gets too crowded?
Then they're in trouble.
It could be bad.
So they're betting big on small satellites.
They are.
What if that bet doesn't work out
That's the risk.
and they have competition?
Oh, yeah.
SpaceX.
And other startups.
Everyone wants a piece of the pie.
Makes sense.
And remember, those execution risks.
Yeah.
Scaling up isn't easy.
Right, managing that growth.
It's tough.
Okay, so opportunities.
Well, the space industry itself is booming.
So lots of potential there.
Tons.
They could expand into new markets,
They could.
offer new services.
Yeah.
Maybe even go to the moon
Lunar missions,
or further.
deep space.
Wow. So many possibilities,
They're working on reusable rockets.
which would be huge.
It would.
Lower costs,
Mm-hmm.
more competitive,
And they could buy other companies
acquisition,
or partner up.
strategic partnerships.
Yeah, to get even stronger.
It seems like the sky's the limit.
Literally.
But every opportunity.
Comes with threats.
Of course.
What are Rocket Lab's threats?
Competition is a big one.
Right.
SpaceX is huge. They
Yeah.
have way more money and resources.
So Rocket Lab has to be smart
They do.
to stay ahead.
Technology is changing so fast, too.
Mm-hmm.
They got to keep innovating.
Oh.
They'll get left behind.
And then there's regulation.
Oh, yeah.
Space is getting crowded.
And
Here
complicated.
legally.
Lots of rules.
I bet those rules change a lot
They do.
as we go further into space
It's a new frontier.
and the economy.
Yeah, a recession could hurt.
Right.
Less investment in space.
And what about global politics?
Geopolitics.
Yeah.
That can disrupt things, too.
Supply chains?
Yeah,
Maybe even bans on certain space activities.
it's possible.
So many things to think about.
It's a complex industry.
And we can't forget about the actual risks of space flight.
Yeah, launching stuff into space.
It's dangerous.
It is.
Rockets can fail,
They can.
which is expensive.
Yeah.
And hurts their reputation.
Both.
So it's a high-stakes game,
Definitely.
but also really exciting.
It is.
We're seeing a new age of space exploration. We are.
It's amazing.
It's incredible.
So much is happening.
So fast.
Who knows what's next?
Nobody knows.
But Rocket Lab,
Yeah,
they're pushing boundaries.
They are.
They're definitely a company to watch.
absolutely.
Wow, we've learned a lot about Rocket Lab.
We have. It's been quite a deep dive.
Yeah, their launch technology, their plans for growth,
Ambitious plans.
all the risks, the competition.
A lot to consider.
So what's the verdict?
Yeah, is it a buy, sell, or hold?
What are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the biggest thing is
Yeah.
investing in a company like this.
Yeah, high growth.
Yeah, it's always going to be risky.
Right, there's no guarantees.
No guarantees.
Their success depends on...
a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, will that small satellite market keep growing?
Right, that's key for them.
And can they actually pull off these new projects?
And beat the competition.
Yeah, the space race is heating up.
And all those regulations.
Right, the rules could change.
It's not a sure thing. Not at all. But they do have some good things going for them.
Like what?
You're innovative.
They are. That Electron rocket is pretty cool.
They're in a good market.
Growing market.
And their CEO,
Yeah, Peter Beck.
he seems to know what he's doing.
So it comes down to,
Weighing those risks and rewards.
right, what's the potential upside?
And the potential downside.
Nobody can predict the future,
Nope.
but we can make informed decisions
Exactly.
by doing our research,
Research is key.
understanding the company,
The market.
the whole picture.
And your own risk tolerance.
Right. How much risk are you comfortable with?
That's important.
And of course, this deep dive is just a starting point.
Right. We're just scratching the surface.
All the sources are linked below.
Check them out.
Do your own digging
Yeah, learn more about Rocket Lab.
and make sure you subscribe
Yes, hit that button.
so you don't miss our next deep dive.
We've got some cool stuff coming up.
We do. AI, the human brain.
Fascinating topics.
So stay tuned.
We'll see you next time.
And one last thought.
Okay.
Rocket Lab wants to be more than just a small satellite launcher.
Right. They have big ambition.
They want to compete with the big guys,
Like SpaceX?
launch bigger things.
Maybe even people.
Wow, human spaceflight.
That's the dream.
Can they actually pull it off?
It's a long shot.
But if they do,
They'll change everything.
there will be a whole new era for space.
More access, lower costs.
So exciting.
It is. It's a really interesting company.
And remember,
This is not financial advice.
do your own research.
Make your own decisions.
We're just here to give you the information.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.
Bye, everyone.